So what up guys, welcome back. My name is Luke and guys, welcome back to Primal Spirit Distillery. And yes, with me.
Hey guys, as usual, it's your boy Chris. We have a bunch of lovely guests here. We're gonna introduce them, but then we'll just like go around, starting from my left, please.
How's the people? I'm Vasty. Follow me on Instagram at @Ketsia.
That's your K.
I'm Ketsia, aka Butterfly K. Ketsia Matusingele on YouTube.
Oh, guys, my name is Luke.
Already introduced yourself. Returning visitor.
I'm Kelvin Apollo.
Best believe.
Apollo.
Best believe. So guys, thank you so much for joining us. This is officially season 2 of Table Talk. We really hope you guys enjoyed the first season. We're gonna mix it up a little bit, so get used to things like this, right? And not just arrangement wise, but we are gonna mix it up in terms of the content we wanna talk about, such as today's content. Hey, this one might be hard, so let's see what we will make of this. So basically we want to dissect the whole heaven and hell paradigm, right? A lot of homies don't think heaven is real. Some people do. Some people don't think hell is real, and some people do. So that's what we're here for. We want to know what your opinion is, lady and gentlemen, about heaven and hell. So who's brave enough to start this here piece of conversation?
Okay, I don't want to start this. I think it's better like someone else starts. Just give my opinion after.
Okay. So I'm gonna lay the foundation, and if you know me, you know I'm like very straight to the point. My understanding of heaven and hell is not the conventional understanding of it, right? The conventional understanding would be the way I was brought up, which is in a Christian household. Heaven is where God stays. There are some criteria you gotta meet to go there. The opposite is also true, right? Hell is where the devil is, and there are some criteria you need to meet to get there. That's it in a nutshell. I obviously they explained a lot more what it is and blah, blah, blah. But then as I basically grew up, I basically like made my own definitions of what heaven and hell are. Let's say I took my own understanding of it, and my argument is going to be based off the beautiful theory of unfalsifiability. Basically, unfalsifiability means something that cannot be proven to be false. That's where my biggest drawback is, right? Heaven and hell are essentially unfalsifiable. What do you guys think about that? Meaning like there is no test or criteria to say that it doesn't exist.
There's no substantial proof.
There is no substantial proof to tell you that it doesn't exist. There's argument to say it does, but there is no test to say it could be false. How crazy is that?
Okay, that's crazy.
Can't prove it either way, right? Like
You can't prove it.
Yeah,
so it's all concepts.
Like it's an unprovable statement. You said there is a heaven, there is a hell, right? It's just a matter of opinion, right? Because if you say that, right, like there is no concrete evidence, right, to show that there is a heaven.
Exactly.
Right? And if you say there isn't a heaven, right, what evidence do you have to prove that?
Exactly. Okay.
So you think heaven is just a thought, and so is hell? It's an idea.
It is an idea. It's very much an idea. Yeah.
Why would you say so?
Why do I say it's an idea? Well, I think a lot of just religion and spirituality in general is an idea, right? Because if you think of it, it's not like physical. Like if you look at it, like it's something that was constructed. Unfortunately, I don't want to be that guy, but it is a construct, right? Like it's how people see the world, and then they'll attach certain meanings to things, right? Like they'll think if you're a good person, right, or if you have a certain level of virtual morality, right, then you go to this place that's heaven, right? But at the same time, we need to look at that idea and think, where does this actually come from, right? And if you look at the roots of that, right, there is no concrete evidence, like no one has ever seen this heaven or seen this hell, but we just still believe in it, right? So obviously it's got to be some sort of idea, right?
So it's an agreed upon idea as a result of majority individuals coming together and agreeing on this concept, right?
Yeah.
Okay, can we still say it's a man-made construct though?
Yeah, very much so. I think that a lot of things are man-made concepts, right? Other than the things that we can physically touch and see, right? I think everything else would be a construct of some sort, right?
What do you guys on my side think
about that, hey?
I just like you said, religion is not like
Already jumping onto religion back.
right.
no,
Like,
still-
because for me, like religion is like a lifestyle.
Yes.
Like I'll see it as a lifestyle. You know, like obviously it's not like every single day you get to just choose when to be Christian or choose to be when to be Muslim or not. Like you just, it's like a thing. So at first, obviously, we were born into it and stuff. The more we grow up, we realize that actually, no, like this is the path I want to take. So I believe in heaven and hell.
No, I understand. There's nothing wrong with like believing.
I believe
in
it.
that, right? There's nothing wrong
Gloves
with like,
on now, bro.
like what I personally believe
it's
is like
going on there.
there's nothing wrong with an idea, no matter how ridiculous it sounds. Like, but so long as it's your personal idea and it doesn't like infringe on anyone else's beliefs, then
100%.
it's perfectly fine. Right? So you could
100%.
believe. Like my roommate had a very interesting thing. Right? That it goes back to that unfalsifiability you said. Right? He said you cannot disprove that there's a pink elephant at the back of the moon. So why worry about it? Right? So that's what
Powerful.
That's what I go.
Powerful stuff.
But then, guys, with regards to that, it becomes a different. We take a different story when it comes to the whole Christian narrative of heaven and hell. That, guess what? It's a mission. Christians are somehow commanded to be the ones that spread the good news, so that people will be able to receive that, that access to heaven and hell. So that makes it possible for them to infringe on people's beliefs and perception towards reality.
Yeah, and it's a thing that I don't agree with. A lot of Christians that I've met, because I'm gonna stay there. I'm not the most religious person. I'm like a wandering spirit, man. I just live my life. Right? And a lot of people will attack you for that. Will attack you for that, and they'll be like, "Oh no, you're gonna go to hell or something." And it's very weird that it's like you're using your belief, right, to try and force me into believing what you believe, and that doesn't really make.
So
a
you
lot
don't
of sense.
believe you don't really stand for the Christian evangelism and the preaching of the gospel, right?
No, it's not. Okay, I don't want to be that guy that says like, don't go around. I mean, if this is what your faith dictates, it's what your faith dictates, right? But at the same time, you shouldn't go around forcing people,
yeah.
right, into believing, because it doesn't make an awful
100%.
lot of sense, right? To like force somebody with fear, especially, right? I mean, there's better ways to do it. Like to do it through fear is even worse. Like to tell somebody, "Oh, you're gonna go to hell if you don't believe this," right? I mean, come on, it's very childish.
Is that
Patrick, you look like you want to say something there, bro.
I'm processing.
You're processing
what
everything.
they're saying.
Yeah, but then I want to jump on an idea. Firstly, Christianity is not the only religion or faith system that has a heaven and a hell concept, right?
I understand.
It doesn't. Which goes back to, apart from the unfalsifiability thing, I believe certain things, certain ideas originate from human beings, right? It's an innate thing. We have it in us. Do you understand?
Okay.
Think about how many different cultures in the world have that concept. A good and a bad guy, a destination for the good guy, destination for the bad guy, a set of values that belong to the darkness, being the bad people, and the light.
Greek mythology.
It's everywhere. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
Therefore, if it is everywhere and we can assume that humans are everywhere, they spread the ideas, therefore it is a human thing.
Okay.
We basically attribute bad things to a hell kind of place, right? And this is not only Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Hinduism. I'm not familiar with Hinduism, but there are some. I'm sure there's a concept of being punished if you don't do the right thing in your life and reward if you do. So for me, it's always been like, or it's actually recent. I told you about my whole theory, right?
Yes,
Yeah, I'm totally going to write a book about that. But anyway,
I did encourage you to.
the relative God theory.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know that's a rabbit
Pretty-
hole.
No, it's a very interesting theory, though. I
No,
think
it is.
It makes a lot of sense. Like
I personally do enjoy it.
Yeah. But then my theory has always been that some things are innately human. They're obviously human. The fact that it's a shared thought, it is obviously human. For me, that's
so heaven
where-
and hell for you as a concept, the fact that we share it with other humans, regardless of the description people come up with.
Exactly.
The fact that we share those similarities is an
But look at the characteristics, man. Like how it can't be a coincidence. Think about it. It can't be a coincidence. How is it that hell everywhere has darkness? There's no way in hell, where it's like candy or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
No, but the Catholics have limbo though.
Okay, I don't know much
Yeah,
about
they have
that.
the limbo.
The waiting zone.
Yes, they have limbo. So it's not fully hell.
Yeah.
It's like the waiting area.
Yeah, Kelvin, you know a little bit more about Catholicism than we do, so why don't you shed some light on that?
Yes.
Do you think limbo's a thing?
Purgatory and stuff.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't think it's a thing. Even though I'm
Yeah.
Catholics.
Nah, I don't think it's a thing.
You don't think? How come?
Also-
Like, what's your thought about it? What do
About
you
the whole
think?
heaven and hell thing. Okay, I do think there's a heaven, but not the literal heaven that everyone talks about. The one that like when I go up, when I not that one. I feel like the earth and everything in it, it was created for a reason,
Okay.
right? So the heaven is on earth.
Okay.
So it's not the heaven that everyone thinks about. And then when it comes to hell, that people will burn forever. Oh, nah, I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay, I know.
Yeah, no, continue.
No. I think, right, that when the time comes, since heaven is for good people and hell is for bad people, right, the bad will perish, disappear.
Forever.
There'll be no trace of heaven.
Poof, just like that.
Yeah.
Alright.
And then, yeah.
And then the
Oh no, continue, bro. Because I like the thought
I
process.
like that
Yes.
idea.
I like that
Bad
idea.
will perish.
the
Yeah.
bad disappear. The bad will disappear, and then the good.
Yes.
The good will remain on earth.
Will remain on earth.
Okay.
Because I think that the Garden of Eden and the whole thing that happened in Genesis, right? It was created for a reason.
Okay.
So I think if there is a heaven, right, we have to go back to whatever it is that God wanted in the first place before they disobey whatever.
Still you on earth. Ne?
Yeah.
It's like more like a restart.
I like the
that's
fact
a
that you brought up
beautiful
that
idea.
point of going back to whatever was in the beginning. You see, the Garden of Eden and all stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I personally think the problem comes with the human race, first of all, having been so lost, you see. And the first question that you should ask yourself is how do you come about into existence? You see. And if you check nicely in the human DNA or in the human consciousness or subconsciousness, there's that urge of finding meaning. Hence why the birth of different religions. You see. But that does not mean that there is no true religion. You see. And I think when we get to the point of finding that true religion, that's where we can come out, put away all these other arguments and stuff like that. So in the case of heaven and hell, I think the first question should be, how am I here? Is it just a mistake? Twinkle of an eye, like scientists say, Big Bang, things happen. But I'm also a scientist. But
That makes three of us.
but it does not explain. You cannot tell me that matter or photons just came out of nowhere and collided, and then boom, we happen to exist. Why didn't it happen all along? What proof do you have that that happened? And if that indeed happened, that only shows that there must have been a certain higher power to make that happen. Let's take two photons right now and put it, well, they're too little, but let's put it together in one place and see if they would collide and bring about another race. See? So I personally think the question starts with, how did we come about here? Once you find out how you came about, and want it or not, there must have been a higher moral power, a higher being
So there should
that
have
brought
been
about existence.
There should have been a cause to the effect.
Yes.
Yeah. Like it's actually.
Of which I don't disagree with.
And once we sorry for cutting. And once we find that there's a cause for that effect, we fall into what Kelvin said in the beginning. You see, and then of course for those that believe, you will see that we actually went astray, and now we're at that point where we are going back to that stature that we were before. But it's not an easy walk in the park to go back there.
But okay, let's go back to the heaven and hell. Okay, so we've painted the whole creation process and that the fact that there is a cause. I mean, I think we all agree on that. There is a okay. I personally agree. Okay, let me not generalize and speak for everyone, right? Personally, I do believe there is a cause that causes this effect. Fine, and that the fact that we have the urge as human beings to make meaning of where we are, because the minute you are born with no other information but what you see, and even your behavior as a kid or toddler, you're picking up sand, putting it in your mouth. All those are just behaviors that somehow, state or clearly justify the fact that human beings are trying to make sense of the surrounding.
Exactly.
Cool. I do agree with that. But what do you take of the whole heaven and hell concept? Do you believe it's a man-made concept, or is it a must? Because you spoke of the fact that, yes, due to the fact that human beings are trying to make meaning of, where they are at, they tend to come up with different ideologies which form different religions, right? But they somehow are one religion. So
Yes.
by you stating that there is one universal truth that stands above every other religion. Cool. If that is the case, what do you take of the statement Christ made that heaven and hell are man-made concept?
I do not agree with that. I do not agree with that.
Okay.
Because if it was a man-made thing, remember, the same way as we are sitting right now, we don't agree on everything.
That's true.
So had it been a man-made thing, you wouldn't have found, for exaggeration, I would say 98% of similarities in all different religions. It's impossible.
There had to be a source,
You see,
right?
there had to be somebody
Great.
that put it in your mind. The problem is when we receive, we tend to align things to, I don't want to get hurt. You see, I don't want to get hurt. I'll give a simple example. I know this is way off topic, but I'll just put it out there. I have an issue with Zulu chicks, for example.
No,
You see?
you can go ahead and
No
say that.
offenses, guys, but I have an issue with them.
Why do you feel
the
that
issue
way?
that I have is, first, when I came in South Africa, like about 15 years ago, the first lady that approached me was a Zulu, and she was just rude.
Okay.
You see? And because of that, I was like, no. But that does not mean that all Zulu chicks are bad.
That's true.
You see, and that's the problem with us, with the human. You see, because you don't want to feel in a certain way, you don't want to be hurt or whatever. So you change the definition of what was presented.
Okay.
So just like as you said, there must have been a higher power or a certain source as to heaven and hell. But now in the assembly, certain people are hell burning forever.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that.
I'm not feeling
out.
that.
I'm not going to be Christian. See, I'm going to preach there's heaven is on earth. This heaven is attaining the success that you can attain. But that does not change the fact that there is a heaven and earth, heaven and hell. Otherwise, there wouldn't have been that similarity in all religions out there.
Jump in for a minute. Like, don't you think that similarity arises because of some sort of evolutionary trait, right? If you think of humans, right, how we evolved over time, right? I know you're not a big person on evolution, but I personally believe in evolution. I think because of evolution, right, we needed to adapt these certain ideas to be able to survive, right, and to be able to push the agenda of good and bad, right? Don't you
The
think
evolution
that's
theory says that we come, first of all, the evolution theory is confused. In fact, some scientists say that we come from monkeys, yet some scientists say that we come from whales.
From whales.
Whales, yes, whales.
I've never heard that theory though. But
Check
maybe,
it out.
okay, I'm
No,
uninformed
I
about
think I know
that.
what you're
You see-
talking about. I think the evolutionary cycle, it started off with like we're sea creatures,
And then
then
we
we
became
got out, and
mammalian
then we
and
developed
whatever.
lungs, and then from there we evolved into like not Neanderthal, like Homo sapien or
Homo
something.
sapien and all that
From
stuff.
Then we evolved further because of climate change, and we shed our skin, and because we needed to like adapt to our environment, we got smarter in certain ways. We got better at hunting, and then we develop tools to help us.
So that process stopped.
No, it hasn't stopped. Evolution is very much going on.
So the baby that comes out of the womb of a woman was a fish at some point?
No, that's not how it works. Evolution is a process that works over millions of years. Like if you look at people today, like if you look at...
And what proof do they have millions of years? We haven't been on Earth for more than 22 years.
Anthropology is the
For
thing.
more than 2022 years.
Yeah.
That's a false claim.
No.
And
We've been here for like
we.
billions
man.
of years.
No, but no, we're talking about
Human
us,
beings.
us right now,
Or
like
like
human
us
beings,
present
us
right now. We haven't.
See,
True.
so
true,
what,
true.
Wait, we haven't been here for more than what?
No, collectively.
I haven't even.
We,
no,
we haven't been
like
here for
our
30,
generation.
more than 30 years, right?
You see,
Let's not assume anyone's age. By the way, guys, we're not
this
trying
is
to
this
reveal
is
anybody's
like
age.
things that us.
We haven't been here for more
Not
than
the
30
human
years.
race.
Oh, okay,
Not the human race.
okay, like us.
It's like us right here. So why are you holding on to something that you have no proof of? Because science in reality actually is, we back up with facts.
Oh,
you
yeah.
see?
But you know
Studies.
Pat, that can be said about religion as
Religion.
well. Like, why are you holding on to
No,
something
but that's the
that
thing.
you
That's
don't
the
prove?
thing. That's the thing. She mentioned one thing at some point,
Yeah.
and she talked about Christianity not being a lifestyle.
Yeah.
You see, that's where the difference comes in.
Ketsia,
I
do
was
wanna-
telling you earlier on. It's a thing of redefining the terms. Understanding what it means actually.
Exactly.
Christianity is not a religion. Shouldn't be a religion.
I don't like
You
that
see?
very much. Right? I was discussing with a gentleman yesterday.
He said it yesterday.
I really don't like that idea because it feels to me like you're undermining other people.
No, it's not undermining.
I really
It's
feel
not-
like it. Because listen to this. Listen to how this sounds. Islam is a religion, but mine is a way of life. Right? Just process that for a second.
It's a bit condescending.
No,
Sounds
but,
like-
but,
sounds
but,
very
no,
conceited.
but check,
I
check
don't like
you
it
do
at
your
all.
research and you'll see that
But
some
Islam is very much a way of life. They pray 5 times a day. They have certain rituals. I mean,
But
how is it?
that's-
any
Or maybe,
different, right?
Pat, I think maybe we need to construct it in a way that
I really
doesn't
don't
come
like
off like
it.
that.
Yeah,
Don't you-
and
don't
it's
you
not.
think, yeah.
I'm not actually putting it out like that. And you see, okay, here's my point. Let's stop with this thing of saying that because I pray 5 times a day, hence my religion shows some superiority to another one.
there's no
You see?
superiority,
You see?
right?
No, because your question was, how can you say that if Islam people they pray 5 times a day? Why would you bring the point of prayer?
No, that's just
You
an
see?
example.
You see, exactly, and many people go to that. You see, no, I pray, I fast, I do this, I give to the off. It shouldn't be that. It's a thing of here and the Creator. But now you can't get into the argument if you first don't believe in the Creator.
100%.
I disagree with that.
It can.
Okay, what justify your...
You can't enter the argument if you don't believe in the
The argument of belief being a personal thing between you and the Creator. Because right now we define Christianity based on, okay, I won't assume, but from the few that I've interacted with, define Christianity based on the fact that we go to church, we pray, we observe certain feasts, we observe a certain way of walking, and all that type of stuff. But in reality, we have pastors, we have believers, we have, let's go to the Catholic Church, whatever that is happening in Rome right now.
Okay, I have a question for you, right?
Yeah.
If Christianity, like you said, is a way of life, by the fact that, it's a personal relationship between you and the Creator, how is a Christian any different to a guy who believes in a flying spaghetti monster and is a firm believer?
Yeah.
You
Like,
see,
there is
my
no
point,
difference.
you see, right now, I'm not even taking the side of Christianity being true. You see, hence my argument started with, ask yourself, how am I here? Once you find the answer to that, you see, you will find yourself being inclined more to that ideology or whatever belief that you have.
I actually had a very interesting thought the other time. Like, what I believe is we're living in a simulation. It's a very crazy idea, right? But we're living in a simulation. No. We're living in a simulation. Or we live in the matrix. But I mean, you can't disprove it. That's the crazy thing, right?
It's
There's the event.
unfalsifiable.
Yes, there's the event of nothing happening and everything happening. And in everything happening, that's what you call the multiverse. And you're living in one instance of everything happening exactly as it is right now. That is what you're living in. Right?
Yes.
So mathematically, that is what you are. It's crazy, right?
Mind blowing. Okay. Ketsia, back to what you stated.
The lifestyle thing, hey?
Yeah, the lifestyle thing. right?
Yeah.
The lifestyle thing, can you justify that? What do you mean? It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
A lifestyle is a choice. That means everyone has the right to choose whatsoever lifestyle they want to live by.
100%.
So, by that very, you know, what can I say? Statement, yes. By that very stance, would you say there is a one true way of life? Yes.
Would you say that?
I wouldn't really say that, honestly, because I feel like everybody lives their life like very differently. Like the way you carry yourself is not the same way I'd carry myself. So as he said, like it's more of like a choice type of thing. So yeah, I really just don't agree with that.
With what?
What the statement that he made.
There's
So
a
like,
one true way of
Yeah, there is a
No.
one true lifestyle, basically.
no, like I feel like
Yeah.
it differs from everyone. Like we're all different, so like we have our different ways of living life.
So that means, if you state it like that, that means the Muslim, Islam is a way of life as well.
Yes, for them,
It is, right?
it's a way of life for them,
You
but
can't-
not for
I
me.
don't
But it's a
disagree.
way of
It's not
life
true. You see,
for
none of
them.
us disagree.
It's a way of
Yeah,
life.
okay. So it's a way of life for them, and there is no way of life that's superior to another person's
100%.
way of life.
100%.
And- okay, so by that verse,
But there is a way
let's go
of
back.
life that aligns to the Creator's.
But the thing is,
Design.
who is the creator? Right?
That's the
Elohim.
problem. Because you see this
How
way
do
of-
you know Elohim?
Okay, wait.
That's when
Guys,
a weak
wait.
Christian. Wait, that's when a weak. How do I know that Elohim exists? That's when a weak Christian. Yeah, okay, I don't know. Let's just go scriptures.
It goes back, it goes back to that same argument of a purple elephant at the back of the moon. You cannot prove it, right? It's just a wild goose chase at this point, right?
And
Because
it
you
also
just
goes
claim
back.
Okay, guys.
like-
Wait, let me just rebuttal that quickly.
okay.
And it also goes back to the same question. You see, I'm not even going into scriptures, but it goes back again to the same question that I asked you. How did you come about? You see,
Big Bang.
the Big Bang. Nothing can happen out of nothing.
It is a mistake. Existence is a mistake. I'm sorry.
Nothingness brings about everything.
But
Does
isn't
that
that
make
the
sense?
fundamental principle upon which creation rests?
No.
It is, because out of nothingness came something, no?
No.
Yes,
It was
how
not out of
yes.
nothing.
It was-
There was someone.
No, but you see this-
What's happening?
We're not talking about the presence of a creator. We're talking about the concept. Remove the creator from that equation, right? Suppose creation is a circle. The circle doesn't exist. The creator must command the circle to be. So
Exactly.
it needs to come from nothing.
Yeah.
That is the very fundamental
The result. This is the
upon
result
which
of.
I mean,
creation is.
even Paul states that. Paul
Out of
has made
nothingness
this-
comes something. That's basically what, if you're looking at from the Christian faith, right? In terms of creation, that's essentially how
And that's the
it came about.
biggest mystery of nature.
But it's
It is the biggest
in
mystery.
other words, what we are saying that the Big Bang came about somebody causing that to happen,
Not
and not a
somebody.
mistake.
It could be possible.
Oh, I say it's a mistake because I don't get into this because I'm a nihilist, but
It's a rabbit hole.
it's a rabbit hole. I don't get
Oh,
into.
guys, let's go back to the
I think
lifestyle.
that's where the
Yeah.
problem
Let's,
is.
let's go back to the lifestyle.
Let's not deviate
You see, the
too
thing
much.
is, yeah, let's not deviate too much. The thing is, I wanted to ask her that because we know, okay, cool. Everyone has an option to choose whatsoever lifestyle they want to. But every lifestyle is in connection to a different description of a God. And a different description of rewards, of good and evil,
Good.
of heaven and hell.
May I ask a question?
Exactly.
And I'm gonna ask it to my man Kelvin here. Do you think that there are levels to heaven and hell? Can we say that there's one heaven that's better than the other, and by that same virtue, there's one hell that's worse than the other?
Bible seems so good.
Can we actually say that there's one version of heaven, if you do believe in it or whatever,
No way.
that's better than the other, considering it's all towards reward? If you paint a picture of it, okay, why am I saying it's all towards reward? There's a snippet I read on encyclopedia or Wikipedia, encyclopedia, which is not the best source of information, no offense to Wikipedia, but yeah, like but that the concept they explained was that the heaven concept is associated with light, reward, the existence of, or the dwelling place of a deity, right? And on the flip side, darkness, suffering, the existence of an anti-deity. If we have that, right, does it mean that in your mind, do you think there could be a possibility where there's one that's worse than the other?
Nah, I don't think so. I think there's only one heaven. We cannot have like different levels to heavens. It's just like the whole purgatory thing, like saying that the good people, the ones that are good, go to heaven, and the ones that are just good, you're in between, you go to purgatory, and the parents go to hell.
Doesn't make sense.
Doesn't.
It doesn't.
To you, it doesn't.
Okay, to someone else it
It makes sense to
doesn't.
you.
No, it
Yes or
doesn't
no?
make sense to me. Let me tell you why I don't think it makes sense. Because as much as I believe in relativity, that's what I believe in. Relativity. In my mind, everything is relative. Even, think about it, bro. Even if you look at it from religion, it's relative to God, isn't it? Everything is relative in my mind. So there can't be an in-between. There has to be an extreme at either ends, and those two relate, and that's relative.
You
So
know,
purgatory makes no sense.
You know, it's so funny, right? It's so funny that over time, Christians have adopted a somehow portrayed narrative of heaven from Hollywood.
And that's the problem.
That's the problem. Funny enough, majority of Christians don't even know they've done that.
It's not even Hollywood, it's
Course.
just what you call this media in general.
Exactly. There is no way in scripture where it gives a descriptive,
Of heaven.
portrayed heaven.
Except
It gives in Revelation.
Yeah,
it does.
Revelation.
That's
the
New
freaky
Jerusalem.
beasts.
Yeah.
Those beasts
You see,
with
that's
eyes.
New Jerusalem, no heaven. That's New Jerusalem. And that's Revelation 21. I had to look it up again.
Is that a different realm from heaven?
A different realm.
If
This
the
is what,
characteristics are the same, can't it be called heaven too?
it's not heaven. It's New Jerusalem, the holy city that is built on earth.
Goes back to what Kelvin was
It's
saying,
not out there.
right? No, but then, sorry to cut you
Yes,
off,
it
but
does.
it goes back to what
No,
Kelvin
it
was
does.
saying,
Actually, it's
basically.
in line with what you're saying. Besides that, there is no description of heaven. Nowhere. There is no lions talking to you. You playing with lions.
There's no way in Christian theology, right?
Exactly,
Or
no way.
Judaic theology. Because who knows, what if
Does Judaic theology even mention a concept of heaven or hell?
Judaic theology evolved at some point, by the way. Heaven evolved, basically, right? According to the Judaic religion. This is before they went to exile in Babylon and after, right? Before they went to exile in Babylon, don't get me wrong, the heaven and hell concept was there. Hell was ambiguously referred to as Sheol, the grave, the great nothing. I don't know the exact translation. Maybe you could correct me
Sheol,
on
yeah.
that, right? Where the evolution took place, 597 BCE, okay? You know I did my homework point. So yeah, post 597 BCE is where some of the characteristics of heaven that we're familiar with begin to take place, such as personalization, i.e., they didn't have a concept of an individual attaining or like going to heaven. Do you know? You get what I'm saying? Like where you can say Patrick went to heaven, right? There was no Patrick went to heaven pre 597 BCE. I don't know how they interpreted it before that, but if heaven is evolving, right, and it's evolving with a culture, which my question to you was, when you say we ask ourselves, where do we come from, right? And that's a good question to ask, by the way, Pat, bro. Like, that's a question that troubles me personally.
Everyone, to be honest.
Where do we come from?
Scientists.
We can relate it to many different references. We can relate it to the Bible, because that's what we're familiar with. Someone can relate it to the Torah, someone to the Quran, you know what I'm saying? But can you not look at, in fact, that statement itself, you can relate it to a certain book that belongs to a certain culture, a certain people. Therefore, it is adopted.
It's cultural.
You know, but you see the question of where do we come from, yes, I understand it can relate to culture and all that. The question shouldn't be as in like where Patrick do I come from? Because when
As
you
a
go with the
collective.
angle of culture, okay, I come from my mom, from the DRC and all that stuff, and respect. The question should be more of how did the human race come into existence?
A lot of people
You see?
have asked that question.
You see, and I think finding the answer to that will resolve quite a lot of problems. You see,
Which is a bit impossible because
yeah, exactly, and that's where the faith Christian now brings about this thing of faith. You see, because Christians, we believe that it's only through faith that we can find meaning to life.
That is true.
You see, certain things, want it or not, we will all die. We will not understand them, but it's a faith thing. You see, and that's why I don't agree with this thing of religion, because religion is basically a way of doing acts that are done in service towards a certain thing. Today we can decide this bottle will be our God, for example. This is what gives us meaning.
It's a lot of people.
And every time we come here, we have to take off a bit your shirt, do a couple of dances, find meaning and all stuff like that. And that shouldn't be the case. That shouldn't be the case. In spite of Islam, whatever other religion out there.
Islam.
You see, no, I don't hate Islam. Those are our brothers. I don't hate them at all. I have a lot of friends that are Islam. You see, so it's more of a thing of. I think the problem is understanding. Many of us here we will agree that we are victim of receiving things that people told us. You see, pastor, mom, dad, and stuff like that, friend, and all stuff like that. But we don't go deep into research. And this is one challenge that I could actually give to everyone.
Okay, but here's a question, right? If all knowledge, right, all of human knowledge is something that somebody has told you, right? So how exactly can you research and go back without referencing another person?
That's
Like,
where
that
faith
doesn't
comes
make any
in.
sense.
You see, that's
but
where
faith is a bit of a broad thing. It's like
Don't
which
you?
one?
Faith is not exempted to
Yeah.
a certain group of individuals.
Yeah,
Faith is literally
everyone.
a human thing.
Yeah, it is.
everyone.
Right? It is.
And faith
It's
goes
like-
in line with that. Remember in the
But
beginning, I said
faith-
there's that yearning that the human has. You want to understand the meaning of life, you see. And I personally believe, even if the God of the Christian is not a true living God, and the God who's true is the one that's the pink elephant behind the moon, I think He will reveal it Himself to you.
Inside,
and
yeah.
that's the problem that we have. We are basing our arguments based on what science said, based on what this great philosopher said, great preacher and stuff like that. We don't take the time to go look up and investigate and be like, okay, you know what?
Like define
I question
our own truth,
myself,
is it?
how did I come about? So if there is something out there,
But again,
Show me.
how exactly
But that
do you go
means-
about that? You just say have faith, right? And through faith, you say it will be revealed to you.
but it goes about, I don't know why I keep bringing this question. How do you think you came about into existence? I think once you find that specific thing, you can
That-
lock your focus on that.
That is a very impossible question to answer.
No, it is not impossible.
Okay, don't you
It
think,
is
guys?
not.
The
You believe, you believe, for example, in evolution. Now, it's the problem with the evolution theory. You can't go back to, I don't know, whoever started it
No,
to
okay.
question. You see,
Okay, it's not that. When you say how did you come into existence, I'm thinking you're asking about the creation of the universe, right?
no.
And
The
what
question of the
caused that?
human,
The
the
human.
human race.
Oh, okay, then that's not a very hard question to answer.
Exactly. You see, the problem of communication. You
Okay,
see?
guys,
Yeah.
let's go back to this. In Sunday school, right, I have a question.
All right.
It seems very dumb and stupid, but it's a question I think majority of people still have. Because since we've been fed information that we are really choking on at this very point in our lives as adults, because we can see reality for what it is, right? In Sunday school, we were taught this, that we came from God, right? Right? Like babies came from God.
Oh, it dropped to a
Unfortunately, I
skull.
never went to Sunday school.
Exactly. Okay.
Bro, that's harsh. How you didn't go to Sunday school? I'm kidding.
I was
Don't
never,
answer
I was
that.
never a believer.
You
before.
don't need to, bro.
Don't
I'm
answer
not
that.
messing with you.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, I was a Muslim at some point.
Oh,
You're a
Really?
Muslim?
Yeah.
Oh, what a legend. Why did you leave Islam?
We'll talk later. Let's go back to
Okay, let's go
it.
back. Guys,
I
so
love Islam. It's a beautiful
look,
faith.
babies come from God, right? This is a question to you guys. Babies comes from God, right? Who is in heaven, right? Right? Come on, guys, we're all taught this, right?
yes.
Babies come from God who is in heaven, then come to earth, right? Then again, God puts them in like a test, right, to live their life holy and righteous, so that they can go back to where they belonged in the first place. So my question, as I said, it seems very childish, right? My question is, but why God? You could have just left us in heaven, where we already qualified, we were pure and holy.
Yeah.
What do you say about that?
Like I also like literally ask myself that the whole time, like, why put us here? Like you say, like, oh, God says like we His, right? So we're in heaven and whatnot. Then He puts us on earth, right? Now when you go on earth, like there's obviously like different paths and stuff. So you go on the wrong path and then you end up in hell. Like this should just left me in heaven. Like instead of that's like what I always think about.
Oh, I had a very interesting idea the other time. You know what I think heaven and hell is? I think heaven is and hell, what that state is, it's the last thing you experience right before you die. Right? So no, it sounds crazy, but if you die in a state of bliss, right, that would be akin to a heaven. Right? And if you die with pain in your heart, that's hell. That's probably the most realistic explanation of it.
What did you say?
I wanted to ask, there was a time when Nate and said that he was talking about that God knew us even before we were formed, right?
Yes.
So he remember him saying that like he already knows that we are doomed. So like he already chose the ones going to hell
and heaven. Predestination.
Yeah, since he already knew us from birth. So what do you guys have to say about that?
I don't believe in predestination.
I don't believe in predestination, bro.
I never
disagree with him.
I never have, by the way.
Okay, before I go there, so do you believe in afterlife?
Do I believe in afterlife? Hell no.
You don't believe in
This is
afterlife?
what I believe. I believe once you die, you go back into stardust and your energy is reused by the universe to probably make a mountain in some galaxy called Alpha Beta Z or something.
So there's no life in there. So you believe the mountain is made out of people that died?
No, it's like star material, right? You go back into like you're made out of essentially of like quarks and atoms and a whole bunch of stuff, and when you're dead, that just gets recycled. Something
Recycled
shits you,
another
and then
mountain.
turn into a plant and like.
Okay, so it should be difficult to believe in the heaven and
No, of course not. Like,
Yeah.
like,